Welcome back to the Appalachian Outfeed. So we are back on site with this what turns out to be a hemlock that's broke off, and we're out here yesterday cutting on it, trying to get it cleaned up, ready to tote it up the hill and get it loaded up on a trailer, take it to a mill. Kind of left off, it was kind of abbreviated. Didn't get everything done probably that I should have, so that's what we're going to do today. The goal for today is to get this overhead piece cleaned up in place, drop it to the ground, and then get this other piece bucked to length, and then I'm going to put some chain and cable on them and see if I can just nudge him up the road here, up the hill, up to this little, there's a old trail or drive that kind of parallels the fence, as opposed to trying to get them all the way up on my neighbor's driveway, which is again 30-35 yards away, all uphill. If we can nudge them uphill about 10 yards, we'll be on this old drive. The neighbor with the mill can slip in here with his tractor, hook them up to a 3-point hitch, drag them out, load them up on a trailer, and then we're off to the mill. So trying to get a little jump start on that, so that when he shows up with his tractor, literally all we got to do is hook him to the tractor and get him out of here. It remains to be seen if I can do that by myself and with the limited equipment I have. That limited equipment is, I got a fair bit of cable, a little bit of chain, and I've got a high lift jack, and I've got a big old pry bar. I think the high lift jack will move this stuff, but that thing's aggravating to work with. You get about a 4-foot pull on a good day, so that means you got to reset it every 4 feet, which isn't that big of a deal, but still. So we're gonna see how that works out, but we'll get this thing all the way cleaned up, get this overhead piece on the ground, and then get this big piece bucked to length, and then we'll switch up and start trying to rig to try to get it up the hill a little bit. So the goal out of the gate is to deal with this overhead piece and quit messing with it. I'm going to go and clean off all these little stobs I left, and there's one big limb up top. I'm going to try to get it cut off, and want to do all that cutting while it's up in the air, even though that's overhead stuff, because the wood's still clean up there. By the time I drop it on the ground, it's going to dig in, and then I'm going to be cutting through dirt. It's going to dull the chain and all that. So that's what I want to try to do as much as I can while it's up in the air. You might notice I got me a different rig on today. First time working in the woods with this thing. This is more of a hiking rig, but I had so much junk stuck in all my various pockets yesterday. That was not ideal. This gets it out of my pockets and puts everything in one place where it's very accessible to me. So I've got, again, my Garmin inReach Mini, which is probably of dubious value for what I'm doing here, but I've got it. I've got my El Cheapo radio that I can talk to the wife on, and then my cell phone and my tourniquets in here. So I was out here kicking around a little bit ago, and so far so good. It's a good little rig. This is a Hill People Gear chest pack. I've used it some, but I think it's going to work out for this application, because I'm not doing a whole lot of cutting today. I also won't be wearing the chaps today because, again, it's very limited cutting. Going to limb this overhead piece, and I'm going to cut it down at the end, and that may, when I make this cut down at the end of this thing, when it drops, that may be enough to kick it out of that crotch and get it on the ground. If that doesn't work, I'm thinking that I can get on that far end and just kind of pull it toward me away from the base of the tree, and it's just going to slide on out. I think that'll work. Hard to gauge how heavy this thing's going to be. We'll see if I got enough horsepower to do that if it comes to it. And then again, a couple of bucking cuts on this other thing, and we're going to call it good, this big piece on the ground. So again, hopefully not a ton of cutting, just enough to kind of get this thing to where I can roll it uphill, slide it uphill. One thing I ran off and left at the house this morning is my wire cutters. Got to get through a little bit of barbed wire fence to get to this drive. But this is such an old fence, if I just got to roll over it, so be it. Ain't gonna be the end of the world. I did want to get it out of the way though. Anyway, that's what's on the menu. So let me quit running my yap and start running a saw. Stand by. All right, pretty stoked about that. That worked out pretty good. Yeah, just trying to get this thing cleaned up so it'll slide better when it comes time to start sliding it, which is going to be pretty quick, I hope. Because I got to move this piece out of the way. That's where we're trying to go, right there. So not a very far distance. Just thought I'd show you guys again. These tree rings, man, I don't know why this gets me as red up as it does, but look at that, man. That's cool. That's beautiful. So yeah, hemlock is what this turns out to be. All right, so we're gonna try to, I ain't gonna try, we are gonna cut this dude. Ooh, let me get situated here. Oh no. There we go. We're gonna cut this guy probably about right here. And man, that's 20 feet maybe up to the top. I hope there's enough drop here where the top just drops on out of this thing. Saved me from having to yard on this dude to make it go. So tell you what we need to do. We're going to reset the camera, get it back up on the driveway here so you can see the whole thing going on. So stand by, let me reset this dude. Alright, we're set up, 500's warmed up. Get in here and make this one cut. But the thing to watch, hey, it's going to be up toward the top of the tree. Again, I'm hoping when this top end drops, it's going to fall out of the crotch gracefully and not come up and whack me in the face with it. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, we'll see what we see. Stand by. So, not a terrible outcome. Guess y'all could see that thing definitely dropped out of the crotch. Looking at it now, I'd have been smart to go ahead and put my cable in there before I did that, while it was really secure in there and not going to fall on my head trying to get a cable on it, but I didn't think about that. So the way that thing dropped on this tail end, I think it's probably too heavy for me to try to lift. But you know what? I don't know. It may not take a lot of jiggling to get that thing to go. Let's move this dude around and see. Let me get on that log and do some jiggling. In fact, I am going to get on that log and do some jiggling. What could possibly go wrong? All right. Get the big saw out of the way. Lost my little MS170 in the brush for a minute. About to pull this whole log down on top of it. Yeah, maybe you guys see a little bit better now. All right. Really don't like the prospect of being up under the heavy end of this thing when it goes. I'm going to try my original plan, see if I can work it from this bottom piece down here. Make it go. Or not. Thing's wedged in pretty good. I am going to try making another cut on it. I think that's going to bring it out. You know what I was thinking just then? Bump that up there with the chain. It'd definitely come out, but it might come out on me. So I don't think I'm losing a whole lot by this cut I'm about to make. So we're going to see how it works. That's what I'm talking about. Sweet. Alright. I'm going to clean this butt end up. And I'm going to be getting in the business of trying to drag all the things up the hill. Yeah, pretty nice. Like that. Alright. Yep, stand by. One quick cut, I guess. super cool. I have found that for purposes of both dragging and milling, every little bit of protrusion you can get off the log is a win. It's just that much less work later on. It doesn't cost you anything to clean them up real good when they're out here in the woods like this. But by the time you get them on the mill, you're trying to get them up a hill or something, that stuff that's a shortcut ends up being a lot of work. But yeah, all right, kind of stoked about that. We're gonna reset everything. It's gonna be a minute. Let me get everything rigged up, and we'll see if we can wrestle this thing up the hill a little bit. Okay, we're back and we're rigged up. For what it's worth. A couple things I don't really love about this rig I've got going. Mainly I had to put a snap shackle. Had to steal one out of the bed of the truck that I used for just ratchet strapping stuff down, loads in the truck. It's a steel snap shackle, but it's not really designed for this. I don't think it's gonna have a problem pulling this little smaller log, that overhead piece out. I don't know how it's going to do when we get on that big chunk. I may have to try to find another way to rig it for that. But so yeah, I don't have a tree saver, but we got multiple wraps around that tree. I was going to put the two ends together, but frankly, this is going to work. I don't think that's going to slip. And then there's a snap shackle I got on the bigger one. Yeah, I need to go to town and get me one more size shackle. Then you got this chain that I inherited from my grandpa, and I think I'm the one that stretched it out so much. A lot of the links are elongated from doing stupid things a long time ago. Anyway, that's what we got, and we got some chain down there. So way back in the day, I went and was able to buy a whole lot of steel cable, and that stuff's been great. Problem with steel cable is there's no good way that I know of to shorten it. You got that length, you can either, you know, cut it in half in terms of running around something and shackling the two ends together, or you got the whole length, there's no in between, as opposed to chain with the hooks on it. You can keep taking length out of chain. So I'm making do with what I've got. So hopefully you guys can see both me working the high lift jack. That's another part of this that is not ideal. I'll just say this morning, through the miracle of the internet, I ordered me it's called a Masdam, M-A-S-D-A-A-M. Why do I spend so much time spelling things on this channel? A Masdam rope puller. So it's a rope come along, and basically you got as much throw on that come along as you do length of rope. So if you got 100 feet of rope on that thing, you can get 100 feet of pull on it. That's a beautiful thing, as opposed to a traditional come along where you're generally limited to either 5 or 10 feet of pull length. And this thing, this high lift jack, I got 4 feet on it. So that means I can pull my load 4 feet, and then I got to stop and readjust. Kind of a pain in the butt. I'm pretty stoked about that power puller coming, but it's not going to be here for 2 days. Daggone slow delivery. Anyway, so we're going to make do with what we got, and we'll see how she goes. Keep your fingers crossed. Come on, baby. What I'm doing right now is taking slack out. There we go. We're moving some wood now. Boy, if this snap shackle goes just gonna frag right in my face. Matter of fact, that whole thing is held together by one dinky little pin. I ain't liking that one bit. You know what? We're not gonna do this. We're gonna reset. That was working, but that was about that snap shackle. I'll show you all what I'm talking about. If it'll even come off the jack now. That still works. That's what I was looking at. This whole thing is held together. You can see it by that one little pin right there, that little bitty piece of metal. Now, what it was going to take to shear that little piece of metal, I don't know. But I didn't want that thing in my face when it let go. I found out what the working limit of this thing is. So yeah, we'll ditch this in favor of something else. I got an idea. We're just gonna, it's what I started to do a while ago. I'm just gonna wrap the chain around the foot of that high lift jack and see how that goes. So we'll give that a shot. Stand by. Okay, we're back. I got a better setup now, and it involved basically completely flipping my rig, but I think this is going to work. I feel a lot better about it. Man, I'm one shackle away from having a pretty easy, nice setup, but I'm in the woods and this is what I got. So same rig up there, but I've got this open hook, and again, I know that's not ideal. That's what I got to attach. My problem is that this hole right here on this jack is too small for any shackle. If I got a shackle that, I do have a shackle that fits it, but then the chain and the hook won't go through the shackle. And we got a connection right there. That's where I'm going to take the slack out once we get this 4-foot pull done. Woohoo! All this for a 4-foot pull, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That is how we do things here on the Appalachian Outfeed. All right. All right. Let me get on the other side of this dude and see what's going to go on. Tell you what, this is some old gear I'm using. I've had all this stuff a long time. Again, the way this thing's hooked in is not ideal. I don't like the angle on it, but it's what I got. I rigged this thing up high on purpose, trying to get the log to not dig in the ground so much. It's just coming up the hill. Golly, I'm about to run out of jack here. I'm halfway. I ain't moved the log. What are we doing? Come on, baby, scooch. Rig is pulling it with no problem. Got a couple more clips. We're gonna be out of rope. All right, yep, that's it. All right. Whew. Reset this dude. Man, that little rope power pull I got coming, I'd already be done with this. But what I got? I would say high lift jacks or hillbillies' blessing and curse all in one go. Let me see if I can. I don't know if it'll be a blown hook or not. There we go. So it's looking like the key, taking out all the slack I can right here. Before we even get going. Like a lot of things, it'd be a whole lot better with two people. But for right now, it's just me. Back to the hillbilly CrossFit, that's for sure. Come on, log. All right. You guys get the idea. This is gonna eventually work. Whew. It may be dinner time before I get this log on the road, but I'm gonna get it. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the camera on the time-lapse feature and give you guys a break and keep working this problem. All right, so stand by for that. bet that time lapse made that look easy. Let me tell you, that was neither easy nor fun. They got that right at Disney World. I don't want to go on that again. But it worked, and I'm at the limit of the chain I can take out. I'm almost up to the jack, and I just don't have any adjustment left on my chain, so this is what we got. Well, this is what I was going for, is to get this thing in this little pathway where we can get a tractor in here with a 3-point hitch, hook to it, and suck it out of here and get it on a trailer. So I think what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to cut a 10-foot section out of that big chunk down there and then get it rigged up. So when we get the tractor in here in a couple days, all we got to do is come in here and hook to it, and it'll suck it up to the road. And then again, we're hooking it with the 3-point hitch, and we'll be on our way. So yeah, man, high lift jack will work, but it'll work you to death. I didn't like having that thing up by my head either. Cranking on that thing, wait for something to let go and ping me in the brain. Little brain I've got, it probably missed, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so let me get my life figured out here, and we'll run this off for just a second, and then I'll get everything rigged up, and we'll give you a look at that, and we'll call this one good. And just like that, we got a change of plans. So in terms of, I was walking this big piece, getting ready to start cutting on it, and I got to looking, man, we've got good millable wood all the way to that tree right there. And at that point, the hemlock kind of forks off, and I don't know that there's anything we want to mess with down there. But in terms of getting this thing ready again to haul out, I thought it'd be productive to go ahead, clean all this mess out, get the log all cleaned up, and just get it to where we can work on it some. So that's what I was going to do. So now I got all my protective gear on minus my hat, because again, I don't see any overhead issues. But yeah, so we're going to fire up the saw. Kind of the plan is all this kind of, so down here at the bottom there is a tree that is actually got taken over. It's uprooted right at the base of this other tree here. It's under a little bit of tension up under the log, so I'm going to try to take all the easy stuff first and work my way to the stuff that may be under some tension, and basically trying to clean it up enough to see what I'm working with, and then take care of any problematic stuff in there. So that's kind of the plan. I also want to get this big piece off of here. Again, I don't know what this is, but looks like good. It's going to be some good firewood, nothing else. It's not big enough or straight enough to mill, but it ought to burn okay, it looks like. I really need to get better at learning what my species of trees are here in the Appalachians. Okay, let me get this, let me get my ears in and fire this saw up, and we'll get to work. I was going to get in here and cut some, but I gotta clean some of this mess out so I can see what I'm working with. Trip hazard. Oh, good wood. Dead crispy wood. All this mess right here, again, I make a big deal out of, you really shouldn't be cutting alone for safety reasons, but this stuff right here is the kind of stuff where even if the saw doesn't get you, the wood can. It'll get you trapped, pinned in here, something like that. Hope I'm not foretelling anything. This is a mess, as I said previously. And you can try, but when you're doing all this kind of stuff, you can't tell where the pressures are. And I was just cutting a piece a second ago that looked very straightforward, and it wasn't doing what I thought it was doing. I mentioned that before too on another video. Also an advantage having two people. You got one person that can cut, concentrate on that, and another person being able to pull out all the cut pieces and kind of keep the work area clean. Kind of work as a team on that. That's a pretty good deal. And you can get that going on. Golly. Ugh. Okay. I got something I can work with now. Hope I flung some chips at you guys a second ago. I was trying to. Held the saw in a way I wouldn't ordinarily do. Trying to get y'all some chips coming right at you. Again, no extra charge for all that. All right. We will commence with Operation Cleanup, such as it is. Featuring the Stihl MS500i. What did y'all do? Make me throw my chain off. Good gracious. That kind of takes care of the fun for a minute, don't it? Huh. That's actually the first time. Actually, that is the first chain I've ever thrown. Probably showing my inexperience by saying that, but that is the truth. I got to hunt around. Oh, I know where that scrinch went. And dadgum, that stinks. We're about to get into some money too. All right, give me a minute. Let me fool this. Well, that was kind of a showstopper. I don't honestly know exactly what was going on, but after I threw that chain, I went to put it back on the bar, and the drive links don't want to fit down in the groove in the guide bar. So I've got to take that back to the house and figure that out. Like I say, that kind of takes the fun out of it. But we're going to take the MS170 and try to finish this thing up. Don't have a lot left to do, not a lot of big stuff. Won't be bucking any of this stuff with the 170, but you can clean this a little bit up, get this firewood piece cut, and we're gonna call it a day from there. So we're gonna get you guys reoriented so y'all can see all this foolishness. Ooh. Thing about wearing these chaps, they will definitely protect you from getting cut up too bad by the chain. But man, when you're working in stuff like this, they definitely will grab onto everything, all these straps and all this mess that goes with them. So as always, your mileage may vary, and pick your poison. All right. Let's see if we can get Mr. 170 to go. Clean a little bit of this up. Well, heck, little 170 did the trick. No drama. Ooh, mamma jamma. All right, so this is weird though. See if I can get where you guys can see this. Didn't see it until I was cutting just now. Not really sure what I'm looking at. Bring you guys down a little bit. So there's a place where the trunk kind of splits. It doesn't kind of split, it does split. And that will be the end of where we cut this thing, I think, for milling purposes. But hard to tell. So you can see where. All right, so you can see right there beneath the salt where it splits. But look, right there. Looks like it kind of comes back together again. Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird. All right. Oh. I think we're going to call it a day here. And like I say, go back to the house and figure out what's up with this bar and chain. When the chain came off, it dinged up that chain guard pretty good. The drive links look okay. I don't understand why the bar suddenly gets too skinny to let the drive links in. Hoping somebody can help me out with that. If you got any thoughts on that or know what's up, get in there in the comments and let me know what the dynamic at play here is, because I sure don't know. Whew. All right, I've got a good idea on what we're going to need to do to rig this big piece up to get it up there so we can skid it out of here. I'm going to keep the same setup I had with the high lift jack. My one concern about that is, and I'm going to put a pulley on it, so kind of up in the tree, so the log is, again, not jamming into the ground or trying to skid it. Afraid the issue with that is it's also going to pick up the back end of the tractor. And we got turf tires on that thing, so we don't have a whole lot of traction to begin with. So, but if that doesn't work out, I've already got it worked out in my head how we can rig a lower line and put a pulley in. All we got to do is get it up to the road. Once we get it up there, hook it to a 3-point hitch, and should be good to go. All right. Well, I guess that's cutting. Like I say, first chain I ever thrown. Don't look forward to doing that again. But I gotta figure out what's up with that before we can get that 500 back in action. I do have a 28-inch bar that came on that saw, so push comes to shove, we'll be back in here with that thing, and it's fine, just a little heavy, no big deal. And also got the 390 with the 20-inch bar, so we're not out of business. We just gotta reset for a minute. All right, GoPro's about out of battery, and I'm about out of gas, so we will see you guys next time. Take care.